11 Eastern on Fox with Gus and Joel. So let's start with this. America bailed on Harbaugh last year.
We didn't.
Two guys right here.
Two, Joy.
Two, Joy. Joy to the world.
America. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers. Hey, come on over here.
Yeah, you bet. There it is.
A couple of winners right here.
Hey.
Didn't bail on Harbaugh like all those weenie sports writers sitting at their typewriters. Oh. So let me just say this. This is huge for Harbaugh.
Yes, massive. I think that you can make a strong argument that this might be, Colin, the most important game that he's coached since the Super Bowl.
I agree.
Because he wasn't favored at Seattle in the NFC Championship game the next year. That was a really good Seattle team.
Yeah.
That was going to go on and win the Super Bowl and beat Denver. Remember, they beat down Denver.
Yep.
And I think that you can give him somewhat of a pass, even for 2 years ago, because it's not really like he had his team yet at Michigan. So in his second year, they lose an overtime game on the road. I mean, you can kind of give it, there was a really bad spot in that, a bad holding call. But this one feels different. Why? He's favored. He's got the team. It's experienced on defense. They're good on the offensive line. All 5 offensive linemen have started every single game this year. They've run the ball. And more importantly, he has a quarterback. And so with Ohio State struggling and going through what they've gone through this season.
That's a component to it, too.
He's got to win this game.
Yeah, it's big.
This one is huge because if you're Michigan and you don't win this game,
when do you win?
That's the exact point.
When do you win?
When are we going to win?
Because you got a borderline NFL guy, the best defense in the country, and right now Ohio State. I'm not close enough to know, but I have 2 sources I trust that tell me Urban's Splitsville. Like after the season, he's gone. Let's address that because I'm sure you've heard the same thing.
I have. I've heard the.
What do you make of that?
Rumblings. All I can go on is what he's told me personally and publicly, which is he's going to be the coach of Ohio State. And I will just start with that. If anything, Ohio State's not making any sort of moves.
They want to retain him.
Of course they would. I mean, why would they have gone through what they went through this offseason unless they wanted him to be there long term? So I've heard some sentiment and people throwing that out there like, boy, would Ohio State? No, Ohio State's not going to do anything. Now, Urban's health might be an issue. The cyst in his head that gives him these pounding headaches. He looked exasperated last week. Obviously, anyone would when their defense has given up over 50 points the week before arrival. He doesn't seem right. He doesn't seem normal to me, as my history with him has shown. Having said that, though, I just don't see this. I don't see him riding away this way. I mean, he's one of the best coaches that we've seen in this generation of college. You really think that this is the way he wants to ride out? I don't. So if you're asking me, having talked to him, having been around the program, I do not think that this is the last year for Urban.
Let me throw this one out to you. It should be the last year for Brian Kelly. Just hear me out. Is that...
All right, here we go.
No.
Am I going to like this?
I'm going to make this right now. It's going to be a lot of sense. I'm going to talk some sense. Notre Dame's a different job.
First time in a while, but go ahead.
It's a different job. Academic, private, hard to win. This is not, Brian Kelly told me this, and you know this. This is not a 25-year job. It's just not. Nick Saban asks, Nick Saban gets on everything at Alabama.
Okay.
Same with Dabo. Same with the Oklahoma coach. It's a fight here. It's a fight to win. You got the Regents. You got the, Notre Dame. This is as good as Notre Dame's going to get. This is it. They're not as good as Clemson. They're not as good. 2 years ago, I was told by somebody who would know, Brian, put the feelers out. See if the NFL is interested.
I've known that same thing.
Okay. So this is...
It's an interesting theory.
He gets into the playoff.
Interesting theory.
Okay, gets into the playoff. Loses by 8 to Clemson. That's as good as I can do. I'm not beating Alabama anytime soon. I don't have the same players. I can't do JCs. I don't do transfers. I'm a private school. It's not terrible timing.
It's not your worst take. No, listen, meaning like you might be onto something. You might be onto something because I know after a couple of years in the last 5, there were feelers out there. He was thinking about making that move. Having said that, and let me just play devil's advocate. I'm not suggesting that this place is better than Notre Dame or anything along those lines, but why is Notre Dame not a 25-year place and it could be for David Shaw at Stanford?
Okay, it's private. It's a private school. It's an academic.
Well, so is Stanford.
Its expectations are unrealistic. Come on.
Where Stanford's maybe aren't.
No, it's Stanford. If you win 9-10,
that's what
you
I'm
get
saying.
an extension.
You're saying Stanford's expectations are not unrealistic. So you're at a place. I don't think it's the worst idea. If he were, let's just say it this way, I would not be shocked, nor would I begrudge that move. I wouldn't say, like, what are you doing?
Neither would I.
No, I think that would be a decent move. If he stays, I think that's a decent move as well, because I think that this is a program in Notre Dame that should be in the upper echelon of college football and is in the upper echelon of college football right now.
You ever hired anybody in your life?
No.
Okay, I have a man of power and leverage. So I've had when I hire people, resume
deal with this every day.
Resume gets you in the door. But you know when I hire a guy, Klatt?
Yeah, what? I'm sorry.
Resume gets you in the door. But I hire a man or a woman because I think when Joy was there, I said, she'll get it done. May have been somebody comes in that goes, I went to Cornell broadcast. I know all this. So,
yeah, I mean, you hired difference makers.
Okay. All these resumes for the fourth spot, Michigan, Georgia, Oklahoma, LSU, Wazoo, USC, they're all impressive resumes. Oklahoma, mobile quarterback. World-class offensive guy.
On this again.
Playmaker.
It's all about entertainment value for you.
Oh, yeah, crazy. Yeah. It's called television.
Yeah, I love the Rams and Chiefs, baby, 52-51.
Oh, why, you didn't watch that game?
I'm saying it was great.
So it's splitting hairs. Michigan, Oklahoma are both good.
I mean, again, you want your dum-dum before dinner, which is fine. I brought you a couple. I knew you would.
What'd you do?
I brought you a couple dum-dums. Yeah, here's your take. Yeah,
props.
Way to go.
So you think,
Colin, here's your dum-dums for this take.
You think Michigan is way more qualified than Oklahoma?
Yeah, way to go. Let's go with the most exciting one. Which one is it? It's the one that has the question marks. What flavor it is, Colin? I don't know. Let's check. Exciting.
Yeah, because I've seen that matchup with Alabama. It works.
Maybe. I mean, why wouldn't you just want the teams to earn their way in, right? I mean,
oh, God.
I'm saying I just don't think it's the way that you choose a team, right? Like, I think that Michigan's loss to Notre Dame is better than Oklahoma's loss to Texas. So I don't think that the resumes are similar. I'm not saying that OU would not be a good choice. I would love to see Oklahoma play against Clemson's defense or Alabama's defense. I would have loved to have seen it last year. But that doesn't mean I don't want to see Chase Winovich and Rashawn Gary and Devin Bush play against Tua Tagovailoa, because I'd love to see that as well. Now, it might be a little bit lower scoring for you, so I might, you don't get your dum-dum there before dinner. But why? I mean, this whole notion that we should choose a team based on excitement level is wrong. It's false.
But this is, in the NCAA tournament, I always have this theory. If I'm paying for the wedding, I get to make up the seating chart. Oh. So CBS is like, I'm paying for the entire March Madness. I want to see, Louisville play Kentucky in the third round. I want Syracuse, not Tulsa. So you're going to tell me I'm sitting there with this whole thing.
So you want ESPN to be able to say, like, well, these are the matchups we want based on ratings.
No. I'm saying Bama, Clemson, Notre Dame in. Now it's just a bunch of one-loss teams.
Okay, well, one of those one-loss teams is Ohio State, and they get more ratings than anybody.
Yeah, but
they're
going to lose.
They're going to last 2 weekends of college football.
No, they're going to get whacked by Michigan.
I thought you just told me that we were supposed to choose based on ratings.
No.
I'm paying for the wedding, Colin. I want ratings.
No, I'm not saying. I'm saying once it's just a bunch of argument over the same resume.
But what's to say that Oklahoma
it's not about
is
ratings.
so far?
It's about what's going to be a good, entertaining game. No. An actual football game and not a blowout.
Last week.
To say Bama, Oklahoma wouldn't be a blowout?
I'm saying it probably would be 54-40. But I know what Michigan, Alabama is going to be. It's going to be LSU, Alabama.
I don't believe that.
What do you think?
I don't believe the case.
How many Michigan's going to score? How many points on Alabama? I've seen that offense struggled against Northwestern.
After seeing what Alabama did against LSU offensively, after knowing Michigan put up over 500 yards last week. I think they played quality complementary football. If I were to tell you, like, Michigan, Alabama would be 24-17.
Oh, God, no.
Why? That's a one-score game. You want 54-40?
You think Bama, Michigan's a touchdown game?
Yeah, I do. I don't think Bama is quite the dominant team, in particular in the last month that we've seen. They were tied at halftime with the Citadel. By the way, do you know the last time an FCS team was tied with a top 10 team at half? Do you know? I do. Weird. 2007, it was App State at Michigan.
Okay, timeout. Does your TV not work?
You don't think Alabama... I watch all the film.
You don't think Alabama's been dominant this year?
No, they have been dominant. They have not been as dominant the last month.
Well, come on. They're Citadel.
Exactly. 10-10 game. They also did not gain 400 yards, nor did they score over 25 points against LSU. Name the last time Oklahoma didn't gain 400 yards and score 25 points. It's really hard to find that game. All I'm saying is that there's some cracks in the foundation with Alabama. They're going to be my favorite to win the national championship. But this notion that you should pick a team just based on entertainment value or competitive nature, first of all, you cannot tell me that Oklahoma and Michigan would be drastically different from a competitive standpoint with Bama or Clemson. I bet you are.
All the time in the world.
Give me a dum-dums.
Give me a dum-dum.
They're right here.
Give me a